All right, today we are going to tackle what might just be the next huge leap in AI. We're talking about AI agents. So let's just dive right in. We've all gotten pretty used to AI that can chat, right? Things like chatbots, AI that can write stuff for you, summarize articles, all that. But what if that same AI could do more than just talk? What if it could actually do things for you all on its own out there in the digital world? That's really the big idea we're going to unpack. And this right here, this sentence just nails it. The future of AI is agentic. We're talking about a massive shift, moving away from AI that just, sits there and processes information to AI systems that have actual goals and can take real action. It's basically the difference between a passive AI and an active one. Okay, so agentic. It's a cool word, but what does it actually mean? Before we go any further, let's just make sure we're all on the same page and get a really clear definition of what an AI agent even is. So, this definition really points out three key things that make an agent totally different from your average chatbot. First, it can perceive its environment. It's aware. Second, it can act on that environment using tools. And this is the big one. It does all of this autonomously. It decides what to do next all by itself, without you having to spell out every single step. That's a huge deal. Okay, but how do these things actually, think? It sounds super complex, I know, but the basic setup can actually be broken down into three pretty simple parts. So let's pop the hood and see how it works. The best way to think about it is like this. First, you've got the brain. That's the large language model, the part that's doing all the reasoning and decision-making. Then you've got the hands. These are the tools, things like APIs, functions, databases, that let the agent actually interact with the real world. And finally, you've got the plan. This is the layer that connects the brain and the hands. It's the strategy that tells the agent how to reason and what to do next. So a brain, some hands, and a plan. That's really the heart of it. But, and this is a big but, with all this new power and autonomy comes a really critical challenge, right? Because when an AI can act on its own, the stakes are just way higher. If it messes up, if it misunderstands what you want or grabs the wrong tool, you don't just get a weird answer, you get a wrong action. So how in the world do we make these things reliable? And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, an autonomous system you can't trust, that's not just useless, it's a liability. So how do we build that trust? How do we make sure these things are solid before we, let them loose on our important tasks? Well, the answer is starting to take shape in a new field called AgentOps. And if that sounds familiar, it should. Just like DevOps brought order to software development and MLOps did the same for machine learning, AgentOps is the framework for making sure AI agents are reliable. Think of it as the quality control department for your AI. And it's so important because you're not just looking for bugs in code anymore. You're trying to evaluate a really complex, sometimes unpredictable way of thinking. So when you're evaluating an agent, it's not enough to just look at the final answer. With AgentOps, you're really looking at two different things. First, there's the trajectory. That's the path it took to get there. Did it use the right tools, in the right order? Was it a smart process? And then you look at the final response, the end result. Did it actually do the thing you asked it to do? You gotta check both the journey and the destination to know if it's really working well. And it's kind of funny. With all this complex, automated evaluation, one of the most powerful tools we have is still the simplest one of all, human feedback. Just a quick thumbs up, thumbs down from a real person. That signal is absolutely priceless for fine-tuning these agents and making them better over time. Okay, so we've got a handle on what an agent is, and we know how we can start to make them reliable. But this is where it gets really, really cool. The true magic, the real game changer here, isn't what one agent can do. It's what happens when they start to work together as a team. Just picture a team of human experts, right? You've got your researcher, your analyst, your writer, all working together on some big project. A multi-agent system is exactly like that, but with AI. You take a big, complex problem, you chop it up, and you give each piece to a specialized agent. And what's wild is that when they collaborate, you start to see these emergent behaviors. They come up with solutions and find efficiencies that one single agent could never have figured out on its own. And it's not just some chaotic free-for-all. These AI teams can actually be organized in very specific ways. You can set them up in a hierarchy, with like a manager agent telling others what to do, Or you can have them in a collaborative network where they all share info freely. It all just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. And these different structures are actually super easy to grasp with a few analogies. You've got your sequential system, which is basically an assembly line. One agent does its job, then passes it to the next. Then there's hierarchical, which is like a project manager and their team. One agent delegates tasks to others. And finally, collaborative, which is more like a research team all brainstorming together. It's all about picking the right structure for the job. Let me give you a really simple, practical example. So you ask for a chart. A router agent sees your request and immediately sends it over to a researcher agent. Its only job is to go find the data. Once it's got it, it hands that data off to another specialist, the chart generator agent. And bam, two agents, two totally different skills, working together perfectly to get you exactly what you asked for. Okay, so what does this all mean for you and me? For the future of how we actually get stuff done? Because this isn't just about a new tool. This is a whole new way of thinking about work. Pretty soon, our relationship with software is going to completely flip. We're not just going to be users of tools anymore. We're going to become managers of agent teams. Our job is going to be to set the goals and then basically orchestrate, monitor, and guide these specialized AIs as they do the heavy lifting. And listen, this isn't some far-off sci-fi fantasy. It's already starting to happen. Look at tools like NotebookLM. It's basically your own personal research assistant. You feed it your documents, and then you manage it as it helps you summarize, find answers, and connect the dots. It makes you smarter, faster. And taking that idea even further, you've got platforms like Agentspace popping up. These are basically becoming the command center for your entire AI workforce. They give you one single place, a dashboard, to manage a whole team of agents that are plugged into all your work apps, your Jira, your Confluence, SharePoint, whatever you use. It's a central hub for your entire AI team. So let's end on this thought. The question really isn't if we're going to have these autonomous AI assistants anymore. The real question is, what are we going to do with them? When you have a team of specialized AI agents at your fingertips, ready to tackle any complex problem, what are the big challenges you're going to go after? What are the problems you'll finally be able to solve?